Hello, hello, and welcome back to our story for the shuffle and pull of Scorpion 2 Mirror. By the time you see this, I hope everyone's day has gone well. Or will go well. I just realized that I do my shuffle and pulls when it's dark outside, but it's like the first thing posted in the day. And then the stories that go along with those I do when the sun is out, but they get posted when the sun has gone down. That's interesting. Very interesting. It's all right. I've always been a little bit opposite of, I was going to say backwards, but I think opposite might be a better word. I've always been kind of opposite when it goes to maybe when things are in fashion, it's like I'm not really participating in that. I'm usually opposite and I'm just wearing whatever it is that I want to wear, if that makes any sense. And usually I'm experiencing something, and then about a week later I start hearing and noticing the other people are going through similar things that I was going through. It's very interesting. It's like I'm not on the same, I don't want to say wavelength, because there's times when I can just think of someone and then they call me the next day, but that hasn't happened in years, especially since my father passed. He used to always call me when I thought of him. Anywho, enough about me. Let's get into the story. I'm noticing lighting is a little weird, but let's move on, right? That's just what we do. We move on. So we've got the Scorpion card and the Bell card, and I don't know if you saw the shuffle and pull, but those were on the move. I was shuffling, well, attempting, considering, and those little suckers just fell to the floor and they went and hid, and I had to turn everything off or pause everything and actually go diving for those. So what they're running from, I don't know. I do not know. There is the Scorpion is the Scorpio card, and the Scorpio card has been coming out a lot in the stories, I have to say. I always, give the Scorpion, what is it? The benefit of doubt. Because it's like they will only sting you if you are bothering them or if you are too close to them or whatever. They like to be in dry environments, so it could have something to do with desert lands, could be dry emotions. I know I have a family member who's a Scorpio, and she was the only one that hugged me when my mom passed. So, But on the other hand, my mother was also Scorpio. They tend to shove things under the rug a little bit. I don't know if if that was just a family thing or if all Scorpios are like that. They kind of don't deal with the issue that's being presented to them at hand. But I guess on the other hand, because I'm not a Scorpio, I can't really say that, can I? Because I don't really know what's going on with that person. I don't really know what they're thinking. I don't know what they're doing. I just know from being on the outside looking in, there's just some things that they don't want to address, and they're not going to, as far as emotional stuff. And I can only speak to that on the people that I've known that have been Scorpio. So, I mean, I could be totally off on that. It's very possible. So in this story, it could be emotions that are being avoided, considering they do like the dry heat. We don't have the crocodile on the table. I was going to say that story about the Scorpion and the crocodile. we've got the bell there. What looks like a bell sounds like a bell and it's shaped as a bell. And ironically enough, that is the same joke my sister, who was is the Scorpio, that was her joke growing up. I don't know why I remember it so much, but I just think it was so funny. Maybe it was the way she responded to the punchline. But if it looks like a bell, you know, and if it sounds like a bell and it's shaped like a bell, it's pretty much gonna be a bell. It is what it is. So this Scorpion, as we said, is like one of the main people in the storyline. Considering the siren is underneath it, perhaps the Scorpio in this storyline is the one with the voice or the looks or the lure or the ability to mesmerize the person of their affection, or the person that they're trying to mesmerize. In this story, perhaps the Scorpion is that siren. Considering they both start with the letter S, right? So we've got that bell, and then we've got the cocoon, which is transformation. The caterpillar goes into the cocoon, it completely disassembles itself and becomes this beautiful butterfly. If you open that cocoon too soon, then the butterfly will not be able to fly because it doesn't have the strength in its wings. So whatever's been going on emotionally could be transforming someone to a place where they are stronger or have more strength within their emotions in order to use them constructively, so they can kind of fly above everything and leave all the caterpillar behind. A caterpillar could never speak or understand butterfly language because it hasn't gone through the process and it hasn't been there. But a butterfly will always know what it's like to be a caterpillar, right? You don't ever forget what it's like to be where you came from. We've got this hoot hoot in the top row. We've got the owl here. We also have the owl down here. Every time. I don't even know if the light really works that well, but maybe. We'll just keep using it. We have our hoot hoot card. It is just drawn in, penciled in, but this owl is ready to speak. It is ready to be noticed. It is ready to share whatever knowledge it has been gathering along this path. Maybe it's ready to share about the emotional transformation it's gone through. That's possible. We've got this number 11 card, which is the number of balance, structure. Some could say it's a twin flame, considering it's a 1-1, it's a twin. It adds up to a 2, which is a decision needing to be made. And maybe this decision is going to be made in the morning with the coffee. Someone there may be making a decision about spilling the beans, about whatever it is that they want to go ahead and talk about that has to do with someone's transition or somebody's transformation, or the things that someone has been going through that completely deconstructed this person. Someone wants to share their thoughts about it. And they also want to share the rainbow or the light at the end of the tunnel. The promise that has been made. Maybe they were made promises by the siren. Bicycle is man-made, and then we've got the lipstick, which is makeup. Maybe someone maybe that's what the promise was. The siren wanted to make up with someone, but it was kind of a forced makeup. It's like they didn't really want to make up with this individual, but they just made up with the person just to keep the peace, so to speak. They knew that if they wanted to get to that rainbow, they would have to probably make up with the siren in order to be able to make any kind of headway or distance or movement on the path at all. So that would require someone to make up with someone. That was their bright idea. Or the siren could be the one that's saying, you know what, I'm just going to pretend like I want to make up with this person the night, perhaps, in order to, or maybe they want to make themselves look like they are being cooperative in this whole ordeal with the knight. The knight in shining armor, the one that comes in to save, right? We do have the chessboard behind the knight. I know you can't really see it. We also have the chessboard behind this egg. We have a chessboard kinda with the padded room and the jacket. So there's a lot of little chessboards going on. So, I mean, maybe the knight is playing chess while the siren was playing checkers. I don't know. We've got this lipstick, the live in peace. That is my motto. It's like live in peace, so that way you can rest in it. Perhaps someone is trying to pretend that they're wanting to live in peace. They're wanting to pretend that they want to make amends, that they want to pretend, as I said, to make up. Perhaps this person is putting makeup on to make themselves look more alluring. They're accentuating certain characteristics on their face, or certain features, I guess would be the right word, on their face. They're kind of lighting those up. They're making those work for them. As far as when it comes to this knight, perhaps the knight is seeing these ideas or coming up with these ideas, or is being, he's got parts to the story. You can have a light bulb, of course, but the light bulb really isn't of any use unless you have a lamp, and I don't see the lamp on the table. We do have the camera, which in the old days, for anyone who is, not from a time before we had phones, but in the old days, you'd have to put this little flash on the top of the camera in order to make it kind of illuminate in the dark. And so we could be using the light bulb here in order to illuminate the moments and the memories. Illuminate maybe the paparazzi of being watched in some regard, or if someone else recording moments, we could use the light bulb there maybe. We've got this knight. Oh, we've got the horse with the rodeo. How cute is that? It's not my first rodeo. Not the first rodeo, folks. I've often had this thought that had come to me, because of I have an ex who created an incident one evening. Ironically enough, is a Cancer, and we've got the Hermit card over there. Created an incident one night where the authorities were called by neighbors. I believe they were actually 2 doors down. I don't know how in the world that they would have heard anything, because this person had closed the window and disconnected the phone. It was that kind of incident. And it was a 3 or 4 hour ordeal where I was trying to get outside and he would not allow me to go outside. Why am I bringing this up? Interesting. Very interesting why I would even be bringing this up, because I don't remember the thought that I had prior to that. I guess I'll have to go back and read it, or to listen to it. Wow. All right. Completely forgot why I was even mentioning it, and I'm going to completely just let it go, I guess. Knight in shining armor. Wow, that's really bizarre. All right. I guess I'm not supposed to mention it, because I don't know why I was mentioning it, and I just repeated myself. I'm sure it will come up another time. 10-year restraining order. I was going to say that there was a 10-year restraining order on it. I didn't ask for the restraining order. The courts made the restraining order happen. I don't know, folks. I'm just going to let it go because I don't see what the point is of it. Okay, so back to our night. Playing chess? It's just going to bug me, isn't it? But that's all right. Let's move on. We've got the knight, and then we've got this egg, this new start. Perhaps this knight was hoping for a new start. This knight in shining armor was hoping for a new start. So bizarre. This new start is secure. It is locked. Locked and frozen. We've got the ice card here. So there's not a new start happening. The knight wanted the new start. It's not happening. It is locked and it is frozen solid. This person is, wow. This person is bound, contained, with the jacket card here. They are bound, they're contained, they cannot hurt themselves, they cannot hurt anyone else. They are in an isolation room, perhaps being forced to deal with their emotions in the situation. There is someone who is seeing this. The owl is a hunter that works in the dark, in the shadows, rarely seen unless they're wanted to be seen. You won't hear an owl unless they want you to hear them. And there's purpose in what they say. So for him to come up in her to come up in the first line coming out, perhaps something was mentioned. Or, on the other hand, maybe they were going through the decision process, whether they were going to spill the beans or share their thoughts about something. About the promises and their conversations with this siren. And now they have decided, perhaps, not to mention anything because it would be a toxic situation for this lion. The lion could be a Leo. It signifies strength, royalty, grace, pride. A lion will protect their family. The poison card could also be a theft. It could be a pirate's flag. It can literally be poison. It's not the lion's first rodeo. It's been through situations like this before. Perhaps they've even, well, I was going to say have been homeless, but there is a nest there. It just doesn't have any eggs in it. So it could be an empty nest. Maybe this person is an empty nester at this point because we've got the 6 card there. The 6 card is about family dynamics, the understanding of the imperfect human. We do have the egg above the nest, though. That's interesting. So maybe they're almost an empty nester. They have 1 egg left. The rodeo with the clown gloves, the clown outfit there is a distraction. Friend, we've got friend and family, someone who was a friend of the family. Maybe there's a friend of the family who was working. And we've got this electric with the plunge in the water again, which is not very comforting. Someone could be 95 years old. Could have something to do with the year 1995. It could be a work environment, working 9 to 5. Could also be months, weeks, hours. Excuse me. Could be September 5th. Could have started here in June. I can't believe my mind just zapped after I brought up that story. Maybe they don't want me ever talking about that story again, and so they made it so I wouldn't. Interesting. Moving on. We've got the electric taking the plunge, climbing the ladder, causing a tower moment, causing chaos, a storm. Maybe someone was doing this at work, making a toxic environment at work. The owl, I'm thinking with the camera here, could be there was video surveillance, video documenting the situation that was going on. And someone, this is a side eye. It's not completed yet. And the comb over. Someone is side-eyeing the attempt to conceal something. You know how when someone has a comb over, you know it's a comb over? Usually the person who has the comb over, if they would cut it or shave it off, it usually would make them look super attractive. Usually it's people have a comb over because they're trying to hide the fact that they are balding or they're losing their hair. It could be a vanity thing. It could literally be emotional attachment because maybe a figment of denial. Again, with the scorpion being up there in the other corner, it's like these are definitely emotions that need to be dealt with. There's some sort of attachment to the emotions. Perhaps if they give up these emotions, they don't know how life would be afterwards because these are the emotions that they're comfortable with because these are the emotions that they know. So if you change it, then you don't know what's to come. At least you know what these emotions are and how they feel and how to deal with them to the best of your ability. We've got the 9 here in the corner and then the rainbow up there at top. It could be learning a lesson, end of a cycle. With the egg on the table, we've got very gently handling with kids' gloves, being very gentle with the fragile egg. I don't know why I'm thinking it's a hollow egg, and then I'm hearing it's boiled, considering we've got the ice. It's a solid egg. Maybe the rainbow, the promise, is solid. It's a solid promise. Use your own discernment should somebody come in with an offer or some sort of promise. Definitely use your own discernment, especially when it's a friend, because the comb over is right underneath the friend. The friend is concealing something in this solid offer. The 5 is a number of change as well. On the other side over there to the left, we've got the red rover, send so-and-so right over. I was going to say Johnny right over. Someone is wanting to bring someone over to their side. And then we've got the comb over, which is the same over. So maybe something is over. Oh, I completely skipped over this love me not. It is a, I think it's a French. Yes, it's a French game where you pull the petals out from a flower, asking the question, do you love me, do you love me not? It's like you're wondering, do they still love me? And it's about a choice that needs to be made. This person is wanting love or needing love. It's kind of like that cat and mouse game. It's a needy love situation. This person is kind of maybe thinking back on the moments and times that they had together. Maybe now they're wanting to take the plunge because their situation was so electric. Perhaps they're doing this love me not game over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And they could be reflecting on the fact that maybe if there were twin flames, that this is my twin flame. This is the person I'm supposed to be with. This is my other half, my twin. Trying to get someone to come over to their side. And then we've got the Hermit, which you have the 2 cards there. That is the Cancer card. So someone could be trying to call them over to their side or their way of seeing things. The Red Rover game is there's 2 teams and then they all lock hands and they call someone over from the other team. And if that person can break through those hands of the other team, then they can go back to their original team. But if the team that's calling them over can lock hands and keep that person from breaking through, then that person that was called over becomes a person on their team. So usually they're going to try to go for the strongest player that can lock arms the strongest, right? So that way they have a person on their team to help kind of capture these other people on this other team. The targets, the victims, the people they're trying to capture. We've got the Hermit Crab, who's the Cancer over there. Again, with the dry environment. We've got the fake house there on the one Hermit Crab's back with the bottle cap. PSA message, please clean up your trash. Plastic toxins can seep into anybody's body. Even the hermit crabs, especially when it's used as a home to cover their most vulnerable parts of their body. We want to be mindful to take care of the earth and the animals in which they inhabit it. Someone is reflecting. Mirror was the bottom of the deck, so it was the overall energy on this. There's a lot of reflection going on there. And then the winding up card was left in the bin after taking all the cards out, and it just sat there not even being seen until the very end when I was putting the cards back. So I pulled that out because it was kind of important. It really wanted to be seen. It really wanted to be picked. Maybe someone's winding up to even mention the fact that they're even there. Maybe it's the owl in the background who's winding up trying to say, hey, I'm here, I'm here. Maybe the whole situation is winding up, considering we have the 2 over cards. Something's gaining momentum. In case it's before anyone's time, that little key was used to wind up toys in order to get them going, to make them move. It's also in music boxes, or you wind it up in order to get the music to start. Also, those little figurines, you wind them up and get them to start dancing, or something's winding up. Something needs to get energized to get going. Something's on the horizon. Maybe a promise or an opportunity or something is concealed at the moment. Live in peace. I'll be interested to watch this back to see whatever that thought was that I had when I started to share that story. If the story is still pertinent to that thought, I will definitely put it in the post, in the community tab. Otherwise, as I said, I'm sure it will come up another time. If anyone is really just wanting to hear what had happened or the story, go ahead and comment, and I'll go ahead and share the info, because I know what it's like to... There was a time when somebody would write on the whiteboard or the chalkboard, and the teacher or whomever would erase the board, and they'd leave that little tiny section, and you're like, oh, please just erase that. It's not finished. You're leaving it behind. I'm not like that now, but I remember a lot of students. Oh my gosh, erase it. So if hearing a partial story is feeling like I've left you out in the cold, please share it, and I will go ahead and complete the story. The gist of it was shared. I mean, there was a 10-year restraining order put in place. Not something I instilled or requested. It was just put in place by the courts. Oh, I remember why. Because of the thought that I had that reincarnation and coming back to this life and living another round, that maybe the person from a previous life had some kind of vendetta or wanted revenge on something that had been done in a previous lifetime that I had no idea that had happened in this lifetime. And wow. All right. So that's not my first rodeo, is what I'm saying. It's like this person has done this lifetime after lifetime after lifetime and after lifetime, and eventually people wake up to the fact that maybe, and mind you, lifetimes can be figments of time and years or whatever. It's like maybe you were a student 20 years ago and now you're a professional in that profession that you had gone to school for. Well, that's kind of like a new lifetime, a new time of life, right? So that can also be considered a lifetime. Just a theory. I always try to make sense of things and see how it kind of relates or can make sense to the current times. Because what if there is no such thing as previous lifetimes and you're being told all of this information or all these theories or thoughts, and now you've kind of developed your whole mindset on things that were just stories and they weren't even accurate because it's word of mouth. That's why it's important for you to always use your own discernment and what feels right to you. And whatever is the betterment of mankind, that's usually the direction that you should go into, right? Don't harm others. Don't harm yourself. I mean, we've got the jacket there. The wise owl, I mean, that can go with what I'm saying is the wise owl is the more knowledge you have, the more difficult it can be to figure things out if you don't focus in on your discernment. Anyhow, rambling. Thank you for being here. Take care and make it a great day.